जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्तवृंद ओम ज्ञानतिमिरस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदानं सहगण रघुनाथ श्री विष्णु हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पेश गोपिका कांतरानस्तुति तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य सद्गुरु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविद्ये प्रणपादकृते श्री गिरिराज स्वामी सुभद्रं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविद्ये स्वामी नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी विशेष मुख्यालं पंगुं वन्दे श्री गुरुदीनतारणे Krishna. So we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila chapter 10, text 5. So this is, what can I say? Everything is important. The most important of all, I guess, because it's extremely meaningful for us. Because we won't exist, none of us will be here together if it wasn't for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his associates, his disciples, and his great disciples. So these are the branches of the Chaitanya tree. So we had discussed last week about the gardener and the gardener who's planting a seed and grows a tree, and that gardener is also the tree. So this is a unique position that the gardener himself becomes the tree, meaning he's planting the seed and then he's growing the tree. So all the other branches, they're simply a part of the tree. So text 4. Chaitanya Gosani Rayata Parishada Chaya Parishada Chaya Guru Laghu Bhavatandra Nahaye Nishchay. The associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were naming that none of them should be considered lower or higher. This cannot be ascertained. So here, very important point, that the associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were many, but none of them should be considered lower or higher. Meaning that even Prabhupada somewhere said that ISKCON is also one branch of the tree of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there are so many, all the gurus, everyone, they are like individual in their own way. And here Krishna Das Kaviraj is saying that none of them should be considered lower or higher, that this guru is higher, that guru is higher, this one is lower, this is higher. So very, very simple instruction given here. by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Each one of them are unique and contributing in their own way. So none of them should be considered or higher. This cannot be ascertained. You can't say. Yata yata mahanta kaila tan sabara gana gana ganana keha kari bahare nare jeshta laghukram. All the great personalities in the line of Lord Chaitanya enumerated these devotees. But they could not distinguish between the greater and the lesser. So this is a lesson for all of us. We are here with different spiritual masters, right? All of us, different gurus. So we should not compare, like one guru with the next one. We don't do this. But could not distinguish between the greater and the lesser. Ataeva tan sabare kari namaskar, nama matra kari dosha, doshana labe amar. I offer my obeisances unto them as a token of respect. I request them not to consider my offenses. Text 7. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Premamaratarotyan Shakha Rupan Bhaktaganan Krishna Prema Phala Pradhan. I offer my obeisances to all the dear devotees of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the eternal tree of love of Godhead, right? I offer my respect to all the branches of the tree, the devotees of the Lord, who distribute the fruit of love of Krishna. It's like today's Gopal Krishna Maharaj Vyas Puja. Of course, was very, very intense, because he has left. So it's very, very intense in many ways, But, oh my God, yeah. But, just 1 minute. Get me up the stairs. Yeah. So I offer my respect to all the branches of the tree, the devotees of the Lord who distribute the fruit of love of Krishna. So how much Maharaj has done is amazing. It's like when the person goes, then we start making the account. Shri Krishna Kaviraj, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami sets the example of offering obeisances to all the preacher devotees of Lord Chaitanya without distinction as to higher and lower. And
Hare Krishna Mataji.
We can't hear you, Mataji. Siddhilalsa Mataji, we can't hear you.
Hare Krishna. Siddhi. Oh God. She cannot hear us also. Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, we can't hear you. Oh. Hare Krishna. Can't hear you.
I don't know what to do.
Maybe you exit again and Mataji, you join.
Okay. Actually, group suddenly group. Which one? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Not on the screen, Mataji. No one can hear you.
Okay, let me exit then.
Go out and come back.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, Mataji. Now we can.
We can hear. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
I wasn't hearing you either.
You can't hear you?
I wasn't hearing you either. I'm hearing. Okay. Okay, all right. So,
We have to start from the purport again, Mataji. We didn't hear anything.
okay. So, Shri Krishna Das Karte. Okay, you read and follow. Read.
Hare Krishna, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami sets the example of offering obeisances to all the preacher devotees of Lord Chaitanya without distinction as to who is higher and lower. Unfortunately, at present, many foolish so-called devotees of Lord Chaitanya who make such distinctions. For example, the title Prabhupada is offered to a spiritual master, especially to a distinguished spiritual master such as Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada, or Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. When our disciples similarly wanted to address their spiritual masters Prabhupada, some foolish people became envious, not considering the propaganda work of the Hare Krishna movement, simply because these disciples addressed their spiritual master as Prabhupada. They became so envious that they formed a faction along with other such envious persons just to minimize the value of the Krishna consciousness movement. To chastise such fools, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami very frankly says, Keha karibere nare jeshta laghu krama. Anyone who is a bona fide preacher of the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be respectful to the real devotee, Lord Chaitanya, and should not become envious, considering one preacher to be very great, another to be very lowly. This is a material distinction and has no place on the platform of spiritual activities. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami therefore offers equal respect to all the preachers of the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are compared to the branches of the tree. ISKCON is one of these branches and should therefore be respected by all sincere devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I think we got frozen. Is it from my side or from your side? Okay? Are we all right?
Yeah, all right, Mataji, everything is all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
All right. So, anyway, looks like nobody can escape, this material world, right? Nobody can escape the envy of this material world. So this is what Prabhupada is. Oh yeah, this is what Prabhupada is speaking, not considering the propaganda work of the Hare Krishna movement, simply because these disciples addressed their spiritual master as Prabhupada, they became so envious that they performed a faction along with other such envious persons just to minimize the value of the Krishna consciousness movement. So to chastise such fools, so Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says, anyone who is a bona fide preacher of the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be respectful to the real devotees of Lord Chaitanya. One should not be envious, considering one preacher to be very great and another to be very low. This is a material distinction and has no place on the platform of spiritual activities. So anyway, this material world is such that even among spiritual circles, you have to deal with all this. And Prabhupada is putting it in the pages of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So don't be surprised if something happens in your life. Right. So text 8. All right. Anupama, continue to read.
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Text 8. Shivas Pandit Ara Shri Rama Pandit Dui Bhai Dui Sakha Jagat Vidita. Translation and purport. The two brothers, Shivas Pandit and Shri Rama Pandit, started two branches that are well known in the world. Purport. In the Gaur Ganadesha Dipika 90, Srivas Pandit, Srivas Thakur, is described as an incarnation of Narad Muni, and Sri Rama Pandit, his younger brother, is said to be an incarnation of Parvata Muni, a great friend of Narada's. Srivas Pandit's wife, Malini, is celebrated as an incarnation of the nurse Ambika, who fed Lord Krishna with her breast milk, and has already noted his niece, Narayani, the mother of Thakur Vrindavan Das, the author of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, was the sister of Ambika in Krishna Lila. We also understand from the description of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat that after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of the sannyas order, Srivas Pandit left Navadvip, possibly because of feelings of separation, and domiciled at Kumarahatta.
Right. So this is now, so we'll remember these two names, Srivas Pandit and Sri Rama Pandit. So the two brothers started two branches that are well known in the world. Right? Yeah, continue.
Text 9. Shripati Srinidhi Tanra Dui Sahodara Chari Bhaira Das Dasi Griha Parikara. Translation. Their two brothers were named Shripati and Srinidhi. These four brothers and their servants and maidservants are considered one big branch. Text 10. Dui Shakara Upasakhya Tanra Sabara Ganana Yanra Grihe Mahaprabhura Sada Sankirtana. Translation. There is no counting the sub-branches of these two branches. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had congregational chanting daily at the house of Srivas Pandit.
Yes, so here, so Chari Bhaira Dasa Dasi Griha Parikar, meaning that this started Srivas Pandit and Sri Rama Pandit. Then their brothers Shripati and Srinidhi. So these four brothers and their full family, the Dasa Dasis, meaning the men and the women both, right? So they all engage in preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu together, right? Dasa Dasi. So there is no counting the sub-branches of these two branches. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu held congregation chanting daily at the house of Srivas Pandit. Yeah. Continue.
Tari bhai samam se kare chaitanya ra seva Gaurachandra vina nahi jana devi deva. Translation and purport. These four brothers and their family members fully engaged in the service of Lord Chaitanya. They knew no other god or goddess. Purport. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, अन्य देवाश्रय नाई तुम्हारे कहीं ना भाई ए भक्ति परम कारण. If one wants to become a pure staunch devotee, one should not take shelter of any of the demigods or goddesses. Foolish Mayavadis say that the worshipping demigods is as good as worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but that is not a fact. This philosophy misleads people to atheism. One who has no idea what God actually is thinks that any form he imagines or any rascal he accepts can be God. This acceptance of cheap gods or incarnations of God is actually atheism. It has to be concluded, therefore, that those who worship demigods or self proclaimed incarnations of God are the atheists. They have lost their knowledge as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.20. Kami ste srita jnana prapadyante anya devata. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods. Unfortunately, those who do not cultivate Krishna consciousness and do not properly understand the Vedic knowledge accept any rascal to be an incarnation of God, and they are of the opinion that one can become an incarnation simply by worshipping a demigod. This philosophical hodgepodge exists under the name of the Hindu religion, but the Krishna consciousness movement does not approve of it. Indeed, we strongly condemn it. Such worship of demigods and so called incarnations of God should never be confused with the pure Krishna consciousness movement.
Yeah, so this is a very important verse. So these four brothers and their family members fully engaged in the service of Lord Chaitanya. They knew no other god or goddess. So again, that no demigod worship and no worship of false incarnation. So many things has happened in the Hindu society. So Prabhupada is distinguishing, that the Krishna consciousness movement is not a hodgepodge Hindu society. The Hindu society is simply a fallen form of this Varna Ashram Dharma. The genuine is there, but it's like so much covered with so many stuff, mostly by demigod worship and by worship of ordinary human being as God. Yeah. All right, Shashi, you want to read? Next 12.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Acharya Ratna Name Dhare Bada Eki Sakha Tare Parikara Tandra Sakha Upasakha. Another big branch was Acharya Ratna and his associates were sub-branches. Acharya Ratna Nere Name Sri Chandra Shekhar Yandre Ghare Deve Bhave Nasila Ishwara. Acharya Ratna was also named as Sri Chandrasekhar Acharya. In a drama in his house, Lord Chaitanya played the goddess of fortune. Dramatic performances were enacted during the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the players who took part in such dramas were all pure devotees. No outsiders were allowed. The members of ISKCON should follow this example. Whenever they stage dramatic performances about the lives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna, the players must be pure devotees. Professional players and dramatic actors have no sense of devotional service, and therefore, although they can perform very artistically, there is no life in such performances. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to refer to such an actor as Yatra Dale Narad, which means farcical Narad. Sometimes an actor in a drama plays the part of Narad Muni, although in his private life he is not at all like Narad Muni, because he is not a devotee. Such actors are not needed in dramatic performances about the lives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to perform dramas with Advait Prabhu, Srivas Thakur, and other devotees in the house of Chandrasekhar. The place where Chandrasekhar's house was situated is now known as Brajapatna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established a branch of his Sri Chaitanya Math at this place. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to accept the renounced order of life, Chandrasekhar Acharya was informed of this by Nityanand Prabhu, and therefore he was present when Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas from Keshav Bharati in Katwa. It is he who first spread the word in Navadvip of Lord Chaitanya's accepting sannyas. Sri Chandrasekhar Acharya was present during many important incidents in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He therefore forms the second branch of the tree of Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna.
All right, yes. So it's a very famous name, Acharya Ratna. So about these dramatic performances, it's extremely difficult to, very difficult to find few devotees, right, to perform in our program. But still, we are doing it. We can't avoid it. Like in India, everywhere, even this Bombay city, people always want to do some type of play. And yeah, we don't have much opportunity to train them in the sense of being pure devotee and not being, not without expectations. They want a stage, all this we have to face. But still, because they are doing some service, there's some message that we have to give to the public, to the devotees, and also giving a chance to people to perform. So we are doing it, but we are not of the proper standard as given here. The players who took part in such dramas were all pure devotees. No outsiders were allowed. So we are allowing so many things. Anyway, I can't discuss too much here. But this is the standard. Like the Prabhupada is saying that Narad Muni cannot be, one way in his personal life, and on stage he's different, right? Classical Narad Muni. So whoever's playing the role of Narada must come to the standard of Narada, meaning pure devotee. Then you accept it. Behind the scene you're something else, and in front you're one thing. So yeah, so these challenges, see, we don't allow people who are completely contrary in their lives. But sometimes for preaching's sake, we have allowed, some innocent people to participate in our programs. Text 14. Right, so Indira Radha, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Pundarika Vidyanidhi Bada Sakhajani Janrana Malana Prabhu Kandila Apani Pundarika Vidyanidhi. The third big branch was so dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that in his absence Lord Chaitanya himself would sometimes cry. In the Ganodesha Dipika 54, Srila Pundarika Vidyanidhi is described as the father of Srimati Radharani in Krishna Lila. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore treated him as his father. Pundarika Vidyanidhi's father was known as Baneshwar, or according to another opinion, Shuklambara Brahmachari, and his mother's name was Gangadevi. According to one opinion, Baneshwara was a descendant of Sri Sivaram Gangopadhyaya. The original home of Pundarika Vidyanidhi was in East Bengal, now Bangladesh, in a village near Dhaka named Bhagia, which belonged to the Varendra group of Brahman families. Sometimes these Varendra Brahmins were at odds with another group known as Rajhiya Brahmins, and therefore Pundarika Vidyanidhi's family was ostracized, and at that time was not living as a respectable family. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, one of the members of this family is living in Vrindavan, and is named Sarojananda Goswami. One special characteristic of this family is that each of its members had only one son, and no son at all, and therefore the family was not very expensive. There is a place in the district of Chattogram in East Bengal that is known as Hatta Hajari, and a short distance from this place is a village known as Mekhala Grama, in which Pundarika Vidyanidhi's forefathers lived. One can approach Mekhala Gram from Chattagram either on horseback, by bullock cart, or by steamer. The steamer station is known as Annapurnara Ghat. The birthplace of Pundarika Vidyanidhi is about 2 miles southwest of Annapurnara Ghat. The temple constructed there by Pundarika Vidyanidhi is now very old and much in need of repair. Without repair, the temple may soon crumble. There are 2 inscriptions on the bricks of that temple, but they are so old that one cannot read them. There is another temple, however, about 200 yards south of this one, and some people say that this is the old temple constructed by Pundarika Vidyanidhi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Pundarika Vidyanidhi father, and he gave him the title Premanidhi. Pundarika Vidyanidhi later became the spiritual master of Gadadhar Pandit and an intimate friend of Swarup Damodar. Gadadhar Pandit at first misunderstood Pundarika Vidyanidhi to be an ordinary pounds and shillings man, but later, upon being corrected by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became his disciple. Another incident in the life of Pundarika Vidyanidhi involves his criticizing the priest of the Jagannath temple, for which Jagannath Prabhu chastised him personally by slapping his cheeks. This is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya Khanda, chapter 7. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur informs us that during his time there were still 2 living descendants of the family of Pundarika Vidyanidhi, who were named Sri Harakumara Smriti Tirtha and Sri Krishna Kinkara Vidyalankara. For further information, one should refer to the dictionary known as Vaishnav Manjusa.
That's a lot of description about Srila Pundarik Vidyanidhi. That's 15. Devahuti, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Text 15. Boro Shaka Gadadhar Pandit Goshani Tenho Lakshmi Rupa Tandra Shamo Keho Nai. Gadadhar Pandit, translation. Gadadhar Pandit, the 4th branch, is described as an incarnation of the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna. No one, therefore, can equal him. Purport. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 147 through 153, it is stated the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna, formerly known as Vrindavaneshwari, is now personified in the form of Sri Gadadhar Pandit in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami has pointed out that in the shape of Lakshmi, the pleasure potency of Krishna, she was formerly very dear to the Lord as Sham Sundara Vallabha. The same Shama Sundara Vallabha was present in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Gadadhar Pandit. Formerly as Lalita Sakhi, she was always devoted to Srimati Radharani. Thus, Gadadhar Pandit is simultaneously an incarnation of Srimati Radharani and Lalita Sakhi. In the 12th chapter of this part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a description of the descendants or disciplic succession of Gadadhar Pandit.
Okay, so now another disciplic succession is Gadadhar, meaning that each and every associate of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were actually preachers. All right? Each and every one of them, they were distributing this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And they were not ordinary living beings. The close associates of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were either expansions of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or they were Shakti Tattva of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Text 60. Tandra Shishya Upashishya Tandra Upasakha Ei Mote Shab Shakha Upashakhar Lekha. Translation. His disciples and grand disciples are his sub-branches. To describe them all would be difficult. Text 17. Bakreshwara Pandit Prabhur Boro Priya Bhrita Eka Bhav 24 Prohor Jar Nritya. 24 Prohor Jar Nritya. Oh my God. Translation. Bakreshwar Pandit, the fifth branch of the tree, was a very dear servant of Lord Chaitanya's. He could dance with constant ecstasy for 72 hours. Purport. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 71, it is stated that Bakreshwar Pandit was an incarnation of Aniruddha, one of the quadruple expansions of Vishnu, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha and Pradyumna. He could dance wonderfully for 72 continuous hours. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu played in dramatic performances in the house of Srivas Pandit, Bakreshwar Pandit was one of the chief dancers, and he danced continuously for that length of time. Sri Govinda Das, an Uriya devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has described the life of Bakreshwar Pandit in his book Gauriya Krishnodaya. There are many disciples of Bakreshwar Pandit in Orissa, and they are known as Gauriya Vaishnavas, although they are Oriyas. Among these disciples are Sri Gopal Guru and his disciple Sri Gyan Chandra Goswami.
So there are many. So again, to point out that these associates of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were actually incarnations of the Supreme Lord who's coming, and they're coming with their own associates and the Shakti Tattva. So that's why there is power, there's extreme power in this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and all the practices that we are doing. If there were no power, then it won't expand. It has to be alive, right? Then it can expand. How can one person, today we are celebrating, Dukkadisha Maharaj, yes, Puja, how can one person do what he did? It's not possible. So there has to be power, extreme power each and every one of them, whoever connects strongly. So they like yeah, they're definitely part of Shichitam Mahaprabhu's movement. Actually, when we were reading this section about Vidyanidhi, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, in my imagination, I was just seeing, Jayapataka Maharaj, he sent out his army of devotees to explore Bengal and find out all these places, These are lost places in history now. Like one place is gone to Bangladesh, and you know what's going on in Bangladesh, right? And here Jayapataka Maharaj is sent, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, whole army. They're going out looking for all these places. And Bhakti Swami also, so many small temples he was sponsoring. He was just making them alive. How can they do this? Right? Unless they were intimately closely connected, so that branch has to be connected to the tree. So the tree is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, and therefore he's sending out the power to do all this. Like even here, we just celebrated Janmashtami. Those of you who were here, like you cannot see the end of the crowd, right? You could not see. It was 12 midnight. It was as if now it's starting. From morning 10 o'clock, we had more visitors than I expected than usual. And it went on the whole day. And I thought usually 4 o'clock, that's when it starts. And it was a Monday, meaning it was not a public holiday. It's a Monday. My God, we were finished. Like I had scheduled my stall to close at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I was there, and everybody, we were all finished. And I say, I must be thoughtless to close down my preaching stall when it's like the day is now stopping. It went on. I just, Abhishek happened, and I just had to Vishal, and I went to take rest. When I became aware, like wake up, that crowd was still here nearly 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I don't know whether Ras Bihari ever slept. That crowd was still there.
Mataji, why do you think people are increasing now? Although Kali Yuga is also there. So why?
We can't explain all this. Can't explain all this. I can't explain.
I think
No,
the
I
wake up call was Corona. All of a sudden the temple started flooding post Corona. We were going to the temple for the functions and for this festivals even before Corona. The crowd was there, but this sudden burst of crowd is all post Corona. This is my observation. And somehow in India, people have all of a sudden got so spiritualized. You go everywhere, there is some or the other thing. Whether you call it material, you call it spiritual, I don't know. Some other karikram is going, and it is something to do with some kirtan, some this, some that. All of a sudden, and the past 2 years, the way the crowd has increased in the temple, any day, any time, the temple is packed.
Yes.
Just not Janmashtami. I think every time, on every Wednesday, Shrikala Mataji and myself, we say, my God, today also the temple is packed. 4 o'clock it is packed. After the class, we are taking darshan. That time also it is packed. What is going on? Yes, all of a sudden this burst at Radha Ras Bihari.
And Vrindavan, everywhere. So anyway, we don't know. I think Krishna, whoever has sent the coronavirus, did some good job. Right? Okay, yeah, it was just not the end of it. And unfortunately, they were quite ignorant. Many, many people, many youngsters came to our table. And we have that SQ spiritual questionnaire. And of course, they will get things wrong. And when you start explaining to them and they will argue with just one of giving them the proper answer, but they're misinformed. They're very much misinformed about the philosophy. So therefore, teaching has to go on and on. It's just like just little bit. Like one girl, I think she's in her 20s, but she looks very mature. She answered, and she just told me your concepts are very clear. I said, what? Because whatever she will say, one second, I will just, explain to her. So, so intelligent people are there, but not sufficient information. So therefore, we have to preach. We have to tell people. Right. Patience. Okay, let's do a couple. Okay, where are we? Vacation. Okay, so let's revise. Oh, it's the fifth branch is vacation. What was the first? Oh, we have to look back.
Srivats Pandit and Ram Pandit.
Yes, second.
Acharya Ratan.
Chandrasekhar.
Chandrasekhar Acharya.
Is it so?
Yes.
Third, yes.
Pundrik Vidyanidhi.
Pundarika
Third is
Vidyanidhi.
Pundrik Vidyanidhi.
And the
Second
fourth
is who? Second is
Acharya Ratna. Chandrasekhar Acharya.
Chandrasekhar Acharya.
Did we forget Shripati and Srinidhi and their Dasi?
Oh, yeah.
Sri Pandit.
Third, fourth. Yeah, Sripati Sri.
Right?
Srivas Pandit and
Sripati.
Sri Ram Pandit's brother.
Yeah. Then Acharya Ratna. Then
Pundrik Vidyanidhi.
Pundrik Vidyanidhi.
Vidyanidhi. Then
Gadadhar Pandit.
Gadadhar
Gadadhar
Pandit.
Pandit. And now we've come to Vakeshwar Pandit. And this Vakeshwar Pandit is said to be an incarnation of Aniruddha. Right? And he was just dancing for 72 hours. Is it possible? Can any human being dance for 72 hours? So he's an incarnation of Krishna. Okay, let's read this last. Because okay, let's read this last. Apane Mahaprabhu Gaya Vyandra Nitya Kale Prabhura Charanadhari Vakeshwara Bale. Chichira Mahaprabhu personally sang while Vakeshwar Pandit danced. And thus Vakeshwar Pandit fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and spoke as follows. When Lokanath Maharaj used to sing, in our temple, when he used to sing, who won't dance? Right?
Radhanath Narayan.
Who won't dance? And he said the best service that you can do, for the devotees to make them dance. Of course, now I can't dance. My feet don't allow me to dance, But there was a time when we did stop. The hours would just go on, Text 19. Dasha Sahasra Gandharva More Dekha Chandra Mukha Chotabe Mora Sukh. Oh Chandra Mukha, please give me 10,000 Gandharvas. Let them sing as I dance, and then I will be greatly happy. Wherefore, the Gandharvas who are residents at Gandharva Lok are celebrated as celestial singers. Whenever singing is needed in the celestial planets, the Gandharvas are invited to sing. The Gandharvas can sing continuously for days. This is their characteristic. No? And so that's what he was saying. I remember Lokanath Maharaj, he came for Rath Yatra here. He sang, I don't know how many hours. He sung continuously. So the Gandharvas can sing continuously for days. And therefore, Vakeshwar Pandit wanted to dance as they sang. So they can sing for 3 days continuously, and Vakeshwar Pandit was ready to dance for 3 days continuously. Prabhu Kahipale Tumi Mora Paksha Eka Shakha Akashe Uditama Yadi Pan Ara Pakha. Lord Chaitanya replied, I have only one pankha. I have only one wing like you. But if I had another, certainly I would fly in the sky. So this is very sweet. I have only one wing like you. I just remembered so many years ago, the Gopal Krishna Maharaj just came to me and he told me, I wish I had a brahmachari like you. So here's Lord Chaitanya replied, I have only one wing like you. But if I had another, certainly I would fly in the sky. Oh, time is over. Hare Krishna. So we are reading all these associates of Lord Chaitanya
Branches.
who are distributing the science of Krishna consciousness and reviving the lost knowledge, the lost knowledge of Vedic Dharma. Okay, so you're part of an extraordinary movement, and it will last how long?
10,000 years.
1,000 years.
Yes, 10,000 years only. With all its, with all its ups and downs, with all its defects, somehow or other it's going on, and we have to be very patient. We have to be extremely patient. Like Prabhupada says, make the best use of a bad bargain. Kali Yuga is not at all a good bargain. And we have to be extremely patient with whatever we may experience, and just take and be like a noble person, right? Noble person meaning that even if there's gold in a filthy place, still we pick the gold. So there are many things that's not going proper, but we have to focus only on the gold and pick the gold. All right. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We'll meet next week.
See.